Hi everybody. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. So this one is going to be just a flip through on a chronology of Bible events and world events. So this is a timeline that's in the Life Application Study Bible. And so what it makes this one really unique is across the top section we have all the biblical events and the dates if they are dated, like creation and Noah builds the ark, of course, are undated because we're not sure exactly when that happened. But then across the bottom, we have all of the different world events. So it's really neat. So we'll take a minute and look at each one of these, and then I will put still images at the end of this video. So here we've got Jacob and Esau born around 2006. And then in 2000, down along the bottom in the world events, we've got Native Americans immigrate to North America from Northern Asia. Stock breeding and irrigation used in China. Stonehenge, England. A center for religious worship is erected. Bellows are used in India, allowing for higher furnace temperatures. And then we've got up top we get Joseph being born, having him sold into slavery. He rules Egypt and then he dies. And then we've got stuff down along the bottom with Egyptian papyrus documents describe medical and surgical procedures. Then we've got Moses being born just before sundials being used in Egypt and a Mexican sun pyramid built. So I just think that these are really fascinating. So we've got, the Exodus from Egypt. And then we've got the first period of Chinese literature on there. We've got just before Gideon becomes Israel's judge, we've got the destruction of Troy during the Trojan War. Then we've got like Samuel born. He becomes Israel's judge. We get over to our next page. So we've got like the founding of Carthage, a Phoenician trading post down here. That's going to be right between when Joash becomes Judah's king and then Jonah becomes a prophet. And then we've got right here the first known date of the Olympic Games. So just a lot of things, like when you're reading the Bible, you're thinking of all the biblical events, and you're not even really thinking of what could have been happening in the rest of the world during that time frame. So I think it's really fascinating. So we've got Hosea becomes a prophet, and then the traditional date for the founding of the city of Rome. We've got Jerusalem besieged right at the same time frame that false teeth were invented in Italy. So that's pretty neat. We've got King Nebuchadnezzar dies, and then we've got the founder of Buddhism being born in India just right around that same time frame. We've got Confucius, famous Chinese scholar, being born. Then we've got the new temple completed in Jerusalem just before Rome becomes a republic. We've got Esther becomes a queen of Persia. And so she becomes queen of Persia just before Socrates, the philosopher of the ancient world, was born. So just really, really neat. So we've got like the Golden Age in Athens, Greece begins. The Parthenon built on top of Athens Acropolis. Socrates condemned to death, Aristotle being born, Plato writes his most famous book, The Republic. So, and then we've got up top here, we've got when Malachi becomes a prophet. So it's just really, really fascinating. We've got like Nehemiah builds the Jerusalem wall, and that's just before the Parthenon was built. So just super fascinating. I think this is just really cool. Then we've got information on Alexander the Great. We've got the Great Wall of China being built. And so then that's before the Temple of Jerusalem is plundered. So then we've got Cleopatra becomes last independent Egyptian ruler of the ancient world. And then that's right before Herod the Great was made king of Judea. So that's really neat. And then we've got Julius Caesar becomes a dictator. Then we've got Cleopatra and her lover both die by suicide. We've got, and then right close to that time frame is about the time frame they believe that the Virgin Mary was born. And then we've got sumo wrestling in Japan at the same time frame where Herod the Great begins remodeling the temple. So it's super fascinating. Then we've got Jesus being born, Herod dying, then we've got approximately Paul being born there. And then down on the bottom, we've got saddles first used in Egypt. So we're going to have stuff on John the Baptist, when he started his ministry, when Jesus did, Jesus crucified, Paul's conversion. Then we've got Herod Agrippa appointed king of Judea. And then that's just before London was founded. And then there's got the first definite reference to diamonds. Then we've got Paul beginning his missionary journeys and him starting to write Romans there. And then just before that, Romans begin using soap. So that's about the time frame things started to smell a little bit better. So we've got Paul martyred approximately that time frame. And then we have like painting on canvas in the rest of the world. China opens silk trade with the West. Rome begins construction of the famous Colosseum. And then we've got Apostle John writes Revelation. And then that's basically the end of it. But just a really fascinating timeline. I think it's really neat. So if you're interested in looking at it a little bit closer, then just I'll have the still images at the end of this video so you can screenshot those if you would like. But it's just really neat to see the different things, because I know when I read the Bible, I'm not thinking of the other things that were happening in the world. So this is just really fascinating to think that just after Jonah becomes a prophet, not too long after, that was the first date of the Olympic Games. I mean, that's just really cool. So super neat timeline. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So stay tuned for those photos coming up, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.